what's the one thing that people get done that we see online that we don't know about?
So the invasive answers, like the celebrity secret procedures.
Yes.
Okay, you guys know about Botox and fillers. Sorry, that was an entry level answer. Okay, the more sophisticated answer for the real mean girl answer for you guys is
we're your besties in your ear. Back for another episode of Mean Girl Pod.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Mean Girl Pod. Alex, how are your numb little fingies?
My hands are orange, like they're getting more orange. No, it's absurd. It's getting worse.
Alex, oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen such bad spray tan hands.
This is a week ago.
What?
They're getting more orange.
Alex, did you stop showering again?
I didn't shower much in Vegas.
Okay.
I got home last night and Graham was like, shower. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because people will like try to insult us, and they'll always be like, nice spray tan, hands, and I'm like, you guys are complimenting her. That's not an insult.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I mean, this is like a little absurd.
This looks nice though.
I love this. I mean, it's wonderful. It's just phenomenal.
Dead.
Where's your passport? You find it?
Found my passport. Well, first of all, I'll tell you the passport story in a second. But first of all, this podcast is presented by the one and only Pink Whitney, which we drank in Miami.
A lot of it.
Head to your local bar today, shoot your shot. Speaking of shooting your shots, we're going to tell you a story all about that. But go to your local bar, order some Pink Whitney for you and all your friends.
I just feel like, letting it all hang out today.
Ooh.
I don't mean like that. I mean, letting what is it called when you just like tell everyone your secrets?
Air your dirty laundry?
Yeah, I just like airing my dirty laundry from Miami.
Okay. All right, let's air it.
Not letting it all hang out.
Yeah, that was like the worst analogy literally in the entire world. Yes, I found my passport. So this is what was so crazy about the passport to me. I don't have like an ID, so it's my only form of identification. But the whole time it was gone, and it was like truly gone. Jordan like looked through my room and everything. We kept saying like, I just know we're gonna find it.
I wasn't nervous at all. I genuinely knew it was literally in the hotel and we were going to find it before we left.
And that we went to dinner that night, and while we were there, I got a call from a Miami number, and I answered it, and it was a security guard at the hotel. And he was like, I found your passport on the 7th floor, on the floor.
Which is my floor.
Jordan's floor.
I literally was like, why didn't I check when I heard her on the phone outside my room?
I was on the phone for 58 minutes outside your room.
I know, I heard you the entire time through my phone call that I was on. Alex and I were both on the phone, and I was in my room on the phone with someone, and she was outside my room on the phone with someone at the exact same time.
Why didn't I go to my room to get on the phone?
I have no idea.
So funny.
Miami, we were just two animals the entire time.
Oh my God, we were just running around the hotel. So we got to tell them the story about, you want to do Jurassic Park, or what are we calling you? what is the name?
I pretty much am a velociraptor.
Do you believe in dinosaurs? Like, do you think dinosaurs were real and existed, or do you think they were methodical creatures?
I believe in a lot of things, but I don't know.
Oh, they found fossils from them, I think.
Yeah. Part of me likes to think that there was, but part of me likes to also not think that there was because it freaks me out.
My mind is blown right now. I think I believe in them. Tyrannosaurus rexes were the ones that flew, right?
No. Tyrannosaurus rex are the massive ones with the little hands, right?
That's a T-Rex.
Pterodactyl.
That they flew.
I know a lot about dinosaurs.
Wait, Tyrannosaurus rex is a T-Rex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the same thing. They got the little T-Rex.
I was obsessed when I was little.
Do you think they're real or fake?
Yes, I think they're real.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, because they found the remains.
Yes.
But you
Okay.
guys
And
don't
there's just
believe in astrology?
evidence, I guess. But it is scary to think about. Like, there was probably a dinosaur, like, right here.
Oh, that's
bunch of
awesome.
them.
And then what? They all just went extinct?
The meteor. The meteor.
Got them all?
Got them all.
How did they reproduce?
They laid eggs. They were reptiles. They were reptilian. But
And-
some think they were derived from chickens.
No.
Or chickens are derived from dinosaurs. So there's a theory that dinosaurs actually had feathers. I'm such a fucking loser.
It's really cute though that you know this much about a niche topic.
Oh, like when I was younger, I wanted dinosaurs for every Christmas. Like I didn't want Barbies.
Did you watch?
Like I had a bunch of dinosaurs.
Did you watch The Land Before Time?
Of course.
Was that with the dinosaurs?
Of course, Littlefoot.
Hold
Yeah.
on. People are saying that dinosaurs had chickens or chickens had dinosaurs.
Sorry, chickens are. I think that they say that chickens possibly are connected to dinosaurs.
Really?
But dinosaurs don't. If you're a reptile, you don't have to have sex to reproduce. You just lay eggs.
No, you do have sex.
Oh, how,
right?
How would that?
It's like a penguin, right?
That's
They
where
lay eggs.
my knowledge of dinosaurs stops.
Birds have to
how they
have
have sex.
and they lay eggs, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to imagine these large dinosaurs like having intercourse. Like how would you?
Ew.
No, I mean
a
like.
Tyrannosaurus Rex penis?
Well, that's what I'm saying, and then I'm saying how that they went extinct because they stopped reproducing. But I guess there was a meteor. I didn't know that part.
You didn't?
Wait,
No.
Alex.
Are you
you?
serious?
Yes, it's like basic third grade history.
I've never heard that.
In the Gulf of Mexico?
The Big Bang?
No, not the Big Bang.
New history pod.
Wait, I thought the Big Bang was the meteor that
No,
killed
the Big Bang is
dinosaurs.
the creation of the universe.
Oh.
Y'all.
I knew nothing about the thing in the Gulf of Mexico.
I only knew there was a big meteor that killed all the dinosaurs. I didn't know about Gulf of Mexico.
But it wouldn't. But dinosaurs would be everywhere.
Yeah, but the meteor was so crazy and huge that it caused like a global climate shift. There was fire and clouds, and so the clouds and the ash went across the whole world and blocked out the sun, and the plants died. So if they weren't killed by the blast, they were in China. They were killed by the lack of sun for the plants, and then everything died.
And I don't know about that.
Okay.
No, I mean I'm in on it. But so I would think we would find a lot more remains. Oh, but it was so long
It was
ago.
so long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm kind of in on this. Mm-hmm. All right.
I think I might believe in dinosaurs now. I love how like passionate you are about them.
I loved them.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
a
I
lot of
loved
knowledge.
Pompeii.
Oh,
I was like obsessed with shit like that.
I did like Pompeii growing up. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Alex.
scary though. Volcanoes are very scary. Yes, you know the volcano that erupted and destroyed the whole city of Pompeii.
I've heard the song.
By Imagine Dragons.
You're so smart, but sometimes
Not only in certain categories.
don't worry, same. I thought the Big Bang was the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
I have my niche topics.
Lately, I've been just feeling extra dumb because do you guys ever get to the point where you're kind of on this like go burnout where you can't even try to comprehend what's going on, where you just choose to be just not like dumb isn't the right word, but just like not try to comprehend the conversation? Does that ever happen to you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Like, wait. You don't want to comprehend the conversation, or you're not even trying.
I can't even try because my brain is so exhausted.
Okay, so you don't even. Okay, yeah.
That's been happening to me the past few weeks where I'm like, I've been like hard on myself because I'm like, Jordan, I feel like you're becoming dumber, but it's like, I think my brain is just exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened.
So we were at Carbone, just the two of us.
It was a fabulous meal.
Oh my God, it was so good. It's mouthwatering good.
And our waiter was so sweet.
Wonderful man.
Loved him.
And behind us was this table, this semicircle table of guys. Mm-hmm. Two of them were very attractive.
Yeah, Alex was facing them and my head was to them, so I couldn't see them. Like, that's how we were sitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you think they were cute?
Not really. They weren't really my type.
But we thought, why did we do it?
Just for attention
I think
and
just for
thrills.
Shits
Yeah.
and giggles.
Okay. I didn't-
Also, we had like a bottle deep in wine.
yeah.
So they weren't hot, or were they just not your cup of tea?
They were interesting.
Oh my god! If someone described me that way,
They were interesting because they were like 6 of them, and the way that you said that their body language was almost like these 3 were talking to each other and these 3 were talking to each other, and they just, some people just have a presence about them. They seem to have an interesting presence.
Yes, they did. They and it was just, we were like, oh, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
So we were like, well, we're not going to walk over there and talk to them. So I was like, I told you that we did this on our honeymoon too, Graham and I did. We would send random tables shots, and then the obvious thing from there is like they come over and they say thank you or something, and then you start a conversation.
That's how one of my best friends started seeing this guy like years ago. We went to Denver and we sent shots to two guys, and she actually was in some type of a relationship for like 6 months with one of them. So it works really well.
Oh, cute.
It's the best. Guarantees a combo.
It does.
It's better to do it at restaurants. So we send this table 5, 6 shots, however many of them are.
Yeah. We did send them that many shots of
Sorry.
really expensive tequila. We got the bill back and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He sent them Casa Azul tequila shots.
Nice.
That was nice of us.
That was really nice.
2 of them don't drink, it turns out.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
So the guys come over but here's the thing. It took them way too long to come over, like an hour.
Rude.
Inappropriate amount of time.
Rude.
Really rude, right? Well, the first thing you do if somebody sends you shots, what you do is you send them something back.
Or you at least say thank you.
Dessert, I don't know, like anything. Or you hop up or you make eye contact or something like that.
Oh, they didn't even acknowledge you? They didn't even give you a little hand?
They did say...
Your hand. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
They did say, like, so once we sent them, I cut off all eye contact. Like, I was making eye contact with some of them. And then I went, like, stone cold. Like, I'm not even going to look over there.
And I couldn't look because my head was literally facing you back to them.
So they did say they thought there was, like, absolutely no way that it was from us.
It's not like Alex was like, hey, how
Wait,
are
the
you?
waiter didn't say? Like, it's from those 2 girls?
He said it's from those 2 girls.
they were like,
but they
no.
thought we were punking them because they were like, you stopped looking at us at that point. And I was like, oh, sorry. One of the...
Funny.
Then one of them knew about the podcast. He's like, I think I've seen those 2.
That's terrifying.
So he's like, so we know the blonde one's married and I know the brunette one's single and the blonde one has stopped looking at us, so I don't think they're from them.
Like the brunette's the back of your head.
At one point, Alex and he goes, Jordan, go to the bathroom so you can walk back and they can see you. And I was like, fine. I got up and went to the then I like strutted back. I was like,
And then
didn't do anything.
Then they thought we were running an experiment on them for the podcast.
Well,
Which we
here
are.
Here we are.
So 2 of them come over and they're like, thank you. And we're like, you're late. Like, you're late to the party. And they were like, you weren't looking at us. And we think you guys are you guys the mean girls? And we were like, yeah. And they were like, are you fucking with us or not? And we were like, well, actually, we did something crazy. Then we told them that we didn't pick them. We just told our waiter to send the shots to anybody at the restaurant.
Wait, and also, can we talk about how I like predicted the future? How I was like, how awesome would it be if someone came up and not recognized us, but like said something to us so we looked credible? It was the weirdest thing. All of a sudden, were they sitting down when this happened?
Uh-huh.
They were right when they sat down. This girl, she was the sweetest girl ever. Was with her boyfriend, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love the podcast." Blah blah. It almost looked like we paid her because it worked out so well.
The timing was impeccable.
It was like I literally was like,
thank you.
No, literally, I was like, thank you, whoever's ever watching over us. It was just like the coolest. It was crazy. And then they sat down.
And then they came over. We were like talking to them. But one thing that I thought was really funny was, okay, so we'll get to Jessica. But one other thing, so they sat down in the seats beside us. These 2 guys did. They were like kind of the front. They were the head talkers. And the waiter came over, and he was like, okay, there's a reservation at this table, but I reserved you guys a spot at the front so you can all sit down and hang out and talk. So like, okay, so we go up there.
I forgot about that. That's so sweet.
It was really nice. But we were sitting there talking to them, and not until an hour in, after talking with them all, I think one of them,
someone saw your phone and like, so that's your husband.
yeah, they were like something like that, and I was like, yeah, this one's him. And then we explicitly like said back to them like, are you dating someone or something like that? And they both, one was about to propose, and the other one was going to propose in like 2 months. But it was so odd because it was like a weird amount of time that went by without it being mentioned.
Yeah. Also, can I ask you a question? I guess it doesn't. I haven't asked you a question in a long time.
I know, that was kind of odd.
I was thinking about after, and you're removed from this because you're with a single friend. But it kind of made me sad that out of that whole group, the 2 guys that wanted to talk with us were guys that were involved with people. And I was like, I kind of like thought about it afterwards, and I was like, if if I found out that my soon-to-be fiance was hanging out with, like, 2 girls, I'd be a little bummed about it. I thought about that afterwards.
Yeah, I can't decide.
Like, you were my
Wingman.
so you're exempt.
Yeah, why them two?
I know, because the other guys were single. Some of them, I believe, were single. But it kind of made me sad. I was like, yeah, these 2 guys who are one about to propose and the other's about to propose are hanging out with 2, for all they know. Well, they knew you were married, but like a single girl. And I was like, oh, that kind of made me sad. Because I was like, my future husband is like, I'm going to kill him.
But I just thought it was interesting, like, I had to go first. Like, I had to say it first. Like, we had to talk about Graham and then probe them.
Yeah, well, and also they knew you were married and they still didn't, like, bring it up
Yeah.
for a while. Especially the one.
And then when we did bring it up, I mean, it was like the floodgates opened and they were like showing us ring photos and things.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you're like, I gotta go. And I was like, thank God.
yeah, I literally was like, I just called my Uber and I'm leaving. Okay, so then let's introduce Jessica.
But Jessica came out, like, before we sat down.
Yes.
So I have said that I have anger management issues.
You've said it.
And, like, no one really believes me because they're like, oh, you're so nice, blah, blah, blah. But I actually have anger management issues that I deal with. Like, something happens inside me where, like, a fire burns my chest and I turn into Satan's spawn.
It's a switch.
And I was, when we were at dinner, Alex was asking me about some guys that I'm chit-chatting with, and since we were having such a lovely conversation, she started making me feel, like, think more highly of him. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be ballsy and I'm gonna, like, ask him a question. So I asked him a question. He gave me a response that I did not want at all. Like, I got furious. I was like, I'm about to break him in half. And all of a sudden, a switch flipped and I was pissed off out of my mind.
But it's not even like, if somebody gets mad, like if I'm mad, it's still like, it's like me, but I'm mad. Yours is like, I don't even know her.
No, like, and it's only when I'm drinking, which is like a really sad thing to say. Because like when I'm sober and I get angry, I can control it. But when I'm drinking and I get angry, I turn into Satan's spawn.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, this is the second time I've seen it. That's it, number 2.
I mean, the first one doesn't count though, because that was hangry Jordan, and that's a whole different type of anger.
But they're both like, I'm like, that's not you.
No.
At all, though.
At all.
No similarities.
No, and only a few people get the chance to meet them. Fortunately, you've met them.
So you go into this dimension during dinner, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I'm like, interesting. Then we move to the table with the 4 guys. Jordan's not speaking a word.
Yeah, no, I was I was mad.
I'm talking to both of them.
Which I shouldn't have let this guy, like, make me this mad, but I think since alcohol was involved, it was, like, fucking with my senses.
There's no reasoning, yeah. Like, looking back on it, you're like, oh my God, that's stupid. But at the time, like, you can't.
Yeah.
And if it's like truly anger things, you can't control it.
And I was mixing my alcohol at that point. I got a gin martini, Alanna.
Yum. Olives? Or
No,
lychee?
onion.
Interesting.
It was
I've
incredible.
heard that onions are more refined.
It was
as people say.
incredible, but I chugged it.
Yum.
So good.
I
chugged it.
She looks up halfway through the convo. I'm talking to these 2 guys about startups.
Yeah, boring stuff.
And she goes, this is really boring. Can we talk about something more fun? And I looked at her and I said, you haven't said a word, so you don't get to pick what we talk about.
Yeah. It was bad. I've never felt so bad when I woke up the next day. Because that's the only thing I remembered of the night. And I'm just kidding. I remembered other things that we'll talk about. I was a straight up
It was so funny.
BITCH.
I was like, I'm going to get my Uber. Then Jordan goes, I'm going to go out. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Go
was
get
that
up."
why you left?
No, I just was like, I needed to leave.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that was weird. And then I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Just, and you're like, I've expired.
And then I decided to go out and meet up with Joey and some other people. And that's where the night took a turn.
How much? Well, explain it to us.
First of all, don't know how I drank that much alcohol in one night. And I was drinking so many different types of alcohol. We had 2 bottles of wine. Mm-hmm. We had gin, or I had gin. I had 2 of these, like, that coffee cocktail I was talking to you about. Yeah. I was taking vodka shots, tequila shots. Mm. And so we go out to dinner, or I meet up with Joey and his friends at dinner, and then we go out to this other place, and we're still drinking, and we meet up with these other people. And then Joey's like, let's go to 11. And you guys, I don't know how Joey finessed his way into 11, but he finessed his way above the line. He got us like bottle service. He got us on the ground floor. Joey's the best finesser of all time. And I don't really remember much of the night. I do remember almost getting kicked out of 11 because I saw this guy and he was smoking a cigarette inside. And I was like, can I have one? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I started smoking it, and the bouncer came up to me. He's like, you can't smoke that in there. So I was like, fine. And I threw it in the ice bucket. He goes, you do that one more time, you're out.
Oh!
It's like, I'm so sorry. Because I think Jessica was still inside me. And then, I woke up in my hotel room. I don't remember how I got there, what happened, anything. Honestly, that night was one of the most fun nights I've had in a very long time, though.
That's all that matters.
Because it was just, like, chaotic. And, like, you know how, like, when you're not with people you're that close with, you just get into crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I know Joey, but, like, not as well as you do. And then I was with these two guys I had met, and, like, that was pretty much it.
You just run around.
We just ran around.
Yeah.
Miami.
Right.
But it was a blast.
It's fun when people are also down to run around.
Yeah. We all were just in the mood to, like, have a chaotic night.
Yeah.
And it was fun because then you don't have to, like, worry about really anyone else but yourself in the moment. And
I do think when you're with people you don't know that well, you have to be more yourself. Like, you have to show up as, like, and kind of, like, handle your own. Mm-hmm. And it's nice.
Yeah, so it was fun. I was going to say there was one thing about Miami that makes me sad, though.
What is it?
Alex doesn't want to hang out with me anymore when we all go on vacations.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. She doesn't want to hang out with anyone. It's not just a me thing.
I did want... I wonder why that was, though.
You're so independent now, it's annoying.
I don't. I'm literally living... Like, I like, loved... You know what it was, though? I did this in Vegas, too. I love being... I think it's because these New York apartments, like... I love being in a hotel room and just, like, being by myself.
Yeah. See, I'm so introverted where it's really hard for me to, like, put myself out there when I'm alone. Like, I could never just, like... If I was in Vegas, I couldn't just, like, go to a bar and just, like, sit there.
Right.
I'd be so scared.
Can you eat alone?
In New York? Yeah. I love doing that. But it's because I'm so comfortable here.
So you can't... Oh. So, like, I had dinner by myself. I had a lot of meals by myself in Miami. And in Vegas, I guess. You wouldn't do that in those places? Like, you wouldn't just go sit at the bar and, like...
No, because I think since my brain was programmed that I was on vacation with people I knew... I couldn't, but if I had gone to Miami alone, I could prepare myself for it. But I think, yeah, since I, like, was there with you and Joey, I was, like, in my head, I was, like, I'm on vacation with people. And also, like, I don't know Miami very well, but New York, yeah, I would have no problem doing it.
Quick pause to talk about BetterHelp because this show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. We talk about this all the time on Mean Girl Pod, and that we are big proponents of finding your best and true self. And however you get there, therapy can be very helpful because it's all about depending on your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your true potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/meangirl today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/meangirl.
Love.
Okay, so we were talking to those guys at the pool in Miami.
Oh,
Them?
yes. Sorry, I thought we were still on the Carbone guys.
Oh, no. Those guys, and one of them was like asking what we did, and I was like, we host a podcast. And he was like, about what? And I just had relationships. He said, can you talk about how money comes from girls? And I was like, interesting. Like, so he said all these guys were, I think they were single, maybe dating, but nightlife people in Miami. It seems like they go out a lot. And he said the way a guy handles money is always driven by a girl. So whether you're married...
Wait, say that slower.
So, like, the way a guy handles or thinks about or spends money is always driven by a girl.
Oh.
So he's like, let's say you're married. The way that a guy spends his money would probably be because the wife motivated him to do something in some way. And how guys are always in competition with other guys when it comes to money, but sometimes they don't even know it.
Wait, which guy was this? The older gentleman of the group?
No, this was the two brothers.
Oh.
And they had fully talked about it a lot.
I wish I would have been around. This is such an interesting conversation.
It was, and so he's like, guys are in competitions with, so table service, for example, I guess let's take it from a single guy's perspective. He's like, you buy a table for what? Not me and my guy friends. You buy them so girls will come. But then I am competing against all the other guys in Miami and how they spend their money or who has XYZ. Like, it's a very competitive financial environment. But then I was thinking about how, you know how some wives or girls will be like, well, this couple travels a lot or they spend money on XYZ, and we're probably more bred for maybe comparison potentially. But then you bring it up to the guy. Mm-hmm. And how it dictates, like, it's just kind of this like ever evolving circle. And I don't know like how I feel about it or if I even agree with it, but I think it's really fascinating.
Can you say like the overarching point again?
So I guess the overall theme is the way a guy handles money is always driven by a girl. True or false? Don't know.
So does that mean that girls control men's thoughts on a regular basis? I'm just kidding.
Well, and he said this before he said that, and I wrote it down. He said, girls are always looking for the next best thing. They're never satisfied.
It makes me sad.
That was a very like Miami guy thought, I thought.
Because I feel like guys are always looking for the next best thing and are never satisfied.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think that's actually funny. I feel like in the New York scene, girls think that guys are always looking for the next best thing and are never satisfied. And then in the Miami scene, guys think that girls are never satisfied and are always looking for the next best thing.
So I think there's certain, the older I get, the more I think there are girls and guys put us all together in the same pot. But there are certain people within that wired, I think there's a certain type of person wired that's always looking for the next best thing, never satisfied.
Maximizer.
A maximizer. And then there's groups of people, girl or guy, whatever, that are content or like, I think it's less gender specific and more like something inside of you specific.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely like where you're located in the United States. Mm-hmm. I mean, for sure, maximizers are definitely more on the East Coast and probably in Miami or like the LA world. Midwest, not really like that. I don't know what Oklahoma's like, but people are pretty content with life. And I feel like it's very situational too. It's like, are you genuinely fulfilled with your own life and your careers, or is it because you're always looking for that next fulfillment because you don't enjoy the life you actually live or the people that surround you? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's so situational.
Yeah, very situational. And then when I think about the money thing, I told Graham about it today. He's like, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, this. And he's like, oh, that is fascinating. And I was like, really? Like,
okay, Graham.
Yeah, I was like,
why?
Yeah, I was like, what? And he was like, think about all the things that we spend money on. Most of them actually did come from you. Like, he's not saying I'm more expensive. He's saying what we care about as a couple financially, I do think was mainly all my idea.
Yeah, because if you're in a relationship with someone, like, think about you and Mike, like, most of your expenses probably stem from your idea. Like, maybe you thought of a trip. Maybe you thought it was time to...
I was trying to think about it on a greater scale, yeah. And I think also, like, maybe we're more aligned on, like, we spend money on doing things, not things. Mm-hmm. Like, we go out to dinner a lot, vacation, stuff like that, not things. Yeah. Like, Keith asked me what I want for my birthday. I said nothing.
Your experience driven.
I asked him to make me a dinner. But, yeah, we're, like, experience driven. But I guess some other people, I guess, would be more material driven.
Yeah.
But it would be tough if you weren't aligned in that way.
It would be tough if you weren't aligned. I do. So I think it can shape as you grow together. I think it can change. Furthermore, him saying that they're all in competition with other people.
Yeah.
But like, you don't always know it. So like, once the guy meets his wife's friends' husbands, he's like, there it, you know.
Wow. We have a lot more control than we realize.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, now I'm thinking about it. So Mike bought a condo. And now all of a sudden I feel like all of like my friends or his friends are looking. You know what I mean?
Oh, like he started the
It's
wave.
like, oh, someone did it, we should do it kind of thing. It's like all of a sudden it happened. Interesting. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Not that like they're copying him, but I think it's just like the influence of someone else doing it or seeing another guy do it probably makes guys feel like, oh, I got to do that.
So if girls are the main control for men spending money. What do you think it is for women?
Other women.
Yeah, probably.
Actually,
Women.
Mike sent me a TikTok yesterday about a girl. It was like, if she buys a new workout set, you better go to the Pilates class with her because she's trying to impress her instructor or something like that. And he sent this to me and he was like, oh, you and Jay, your Pilates instructor. And I was like, no, I buy new workout sets for the other girlies in my class. I want them to think I'm cute. Like, I don't care about Jay. I care about the girlie next to me that's in a set active.
Well, you know what's so interesting? You know how last week we talked about plastic surgery and how, like, I didn't want to get a boob job because I would be doing it for men. I was starting to think, and like most of my reasoning behind getting like my lips done or my Botox hasn't been to impress men. I thought it was more about me, but it was because I wanted to like fit in more with like the women in the area that I'm in. Not to impress a man, it was to impress the women in a way, almost like to fit more into like the New York scene.
Yeah, because the guys don't really care, I don't think. I don't.
No, they don't. Based off I actually was reading our comments and it was phenomenal how a lot of men were like, we don't really care. But then it's like the girls seem to have more of the opinions and that cared more.
Yes.
So it was that's so interesting.
It's interesting.
Wow.
So also though, when you said you're more experience driven, they put out this is a massive paraphrasing. I don't know. Graham told me though, but they basically put out like the net worth of the world. And they said that millennials make up the least amount of, so every generation has like a wealth attached to it. Like maybe they're 20% of like the overall money in the entire world, but we're the first generation in a very long time to be such a low number. Like we're not making up for like the economy or anything like that, because they said we spend all of our money on experiences and like less of things, and like nobody has money saved or anything like that. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
I believe that. I feel like out of all my friends, 90% of them will say they'd rather have an experience than an actual like tangible item.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd much rather go to Miami than buy a purse.
Yeah, I actually don't remember the last time I went shopping, honestly. I try to stop shopping for clothes because it doesn't really bring me joy.
Yeah, an experience over everything. Like, there's not one item I want to buy that would make me happier than an experience.
I was gonna say, I'll take Miami to Vegas over anything.
Yeah.
Like doing that again if you gave me the choice.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Food for thought. If you think money comes from girls or the money habits driven from girls, and if guys are in competition with other guys because of that.
Yeah.
But it's really applicable to, literally, I was thinking about these guys taking girls out to dinner or buying a condo. Like, you can kind of think about it and apply to any situation.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. So, I know you guys are both in relationships, so think a little bit more broad than, like, talking to a guy in a romantic sense. But do you guys feel like men ask you less questions on a daily basis? It was more romantic, but I want to see what your thoughts are in like the broader scheme of things.
I think in general, I ask Graham way more questions than he asks me.
Okay.
Yes.
What about
I've
you?
always thought that.
Because I've always had an issue with, I've always wanted to date someone who just seems interested in me as a person or interested in my life, because I'm a very curious person. And as you guys, like, I took a hiatus from men for like 6 months. Like, I'm going on my first date tonight my first date tonight in 6 months. But I've been briefly talking to guys here and there, and I'm realizing, like, they don't ask any questions. It would be even like, what'd you get to dinner? What'd you have for dinner tonight? Blah, blah. Okay, so what's your favorite food? And then nothing back. And it got to the point where I literally was like, well, I know you're not going to ask me, so I'm just going to offer you my answer to keep the conversation going. Like, I've been saying that to people because it's getting so frustrating.
How does it go when you offer it? Do they respond?
Oh, they think it's hilarious. They're like, ha, 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 I didn't even think I was going to ask you. Of course I wanted to know. And then, like, the conversation continues. Like, they never take it, like, as a slap in the face. But I'm like, that should be as an indicator to, like, try harder.
Okay, what about this, though? I think girls, we sit around and we text our girlfriends. I don't really, but
I don't either.
like, so I think primarily more girls sit and talk.
Fully.
I can't imagine a guy being like, hey, what's up? And then the guy being like, nothing. Like, oh, I'm going to dinner. Like, oh, who'd you go to dinner with? Like, oh my God, how was last night? Guys aren't having that like filler conversation where I feel like a lot of girls do. I feel like in general, guys are down to talk less. Just like they're just more content being like, it's not that serious than like girls are.
But don't they want to get to know the person that they're talking to? Like,
I would think.
I feel like maybe we just are used to more like surface level questions, maybe.
yeah.
And also, I saw TikTok, read an article that was about how people in conversations, you're either a giver or a taker. And I can't remember like the context of it, but like that's what it's making me think of right now. Like I feel like girls, when as conversationalists, are more like, oh, so this and this and this, and how do you feel about this, and blah blah blah. And guys are more just like responding to what you're giving. Do you know what I mean?
They need to work on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so unbelievably frustrated by it. Because it makes me start to think that the person I'm talking to genuinely doesn't want to get to know me as a person.
I will say this for you and I, though. Somebody said this to me speaking at NASCAR. They're like, I feel like I just got done with an interview. Like, because you and I are natural, like this is what we do. So we're naturally going to probably, our bar's a little higher.
Yeah.
In conversation in general. I would be curious if you ran an experiment where right out of the gates, you were just less asking questions. But I don't know what, this is my thing too, though.
Silence.
No, I know. That's what I was going to say. If you're not asking questions, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah. But like this was even before I like worked at, this has been my whole life. I remember me and my friends have always talked about this, like first date. And they're like, that was like the biggest takeaway all my friends would say is like, they just didn't ask me any questions.
So these guys just aren't.
And like I know there are men out there because I hung out with my good friend and this guy that she's talking to, and he asked me so many questions.
Okay.
And he asks her so many questions. Like, this is so sad. But the other day, he was like, tell me why you're sad. Like, let's talk about it. And I was like, I can't even tell you the last time a guy asked me that. I told someone I was anxious the other day. They did not ask why. They're just like, okay. I was like, I hate everyone.
That's a lot of depth of that guy to say, let's talk about why you're sad.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
It was really sweet. And I was like, wow, what I would give for a man to like ask me why I feel the way I feel.
Yeah, I love that.
It was really sweet. I was like, he's a keeper.
Well, I do want people to ask you more questions.
Yeah.
I don't know why the giver, the taker feels very accurate. I do know exactly. I mean, we all know people like that too. Some people though, they have an easier time talking about themselves than others.
Yeah.
If somebody does ask me a question, even if somebody gives you a compliment, you're like, thank you. Oh, by the way, and I love your, and it's like, just take it. Yeah. But like, you can't even hold the ball. You have to throw it back.
Yeah.
So I feel like if a guy did ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah. And maybe I'm just going after like a specific type of guy, and I need to go after a more like emotionally intelligent man.
That's a good point.
Who's like more in touch with their feelings. Such a frustrating world, dating. But I'm back out there.
First date tonight. Woo!
I know, in 6 months. It's
Are you
crazy.
excited?
I'm actually like not excited. Like I'm trying to keep a more optimistic.
I like that mindset.
Yeah, I'm excited to. The way my therapist put it, she kind of changed my thought process towards it. She was like, think of it as like meeting new people, meeting cool people, getting to try new restaurants, new bars, new drinks, new food. And she's like, maybe even along the way you could make a male friend. And I was like, maybe, probably not.
I could.
But now I'm looking as more of like, not for the plot, because that's such an overused term, but like more as like an adventure, something. Oh, I love that. Something fun to like shake up your week. Like, you never know what's gonna happen, who you're gonna meet. You know what I mean?
So do you know that this guy tonight is a question asker or not?
Well, he's from the Midwest, so I'm thinking he might be a little bit more emotionally aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope he asks you questions.
I hope so too.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Time will tell. That's all we got.
I'll tell you guys next week.
Next week, yeah.
Next week, yeah.
So last week, it's so interesting because we were talking about plastic surgery and boob jobs.
Yes.
So today's interview comes at a perfect time because sometimes online, you don't know what someone's doing. The buccal fat thing is such a hot topic right now. We're seeing a lot of people doing it. And this interview, Dr. Devgan gives us all the answers.
Yeah, and it was such a great conversation because like we talked about last week, we're here for all plastic surgery. We just want to make sure like you genuinely want it for yourself. And I feel like Dr. Devgan did such a good job of explaining it and kind of give us the inside scoop of what people are getting, so you can kind of take a step back and be like, okay, they got work done to look this way, or they got this done to be perceived a certain way. So it was just very eye-opening, and it put me at ease for like, because I sometimes jump the gun and I'm like, I want to get it done, and then like, wait, Jordan, take a step back. Why do you want to get done? So it was a great conversation.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She was really, really sweet. So we're really excited for this.
Before the interview, quick pause to talk about Zola, because when you're getting married, it's not just about the big day. It's about all the amazing days that lead up to the big day, which is the wedding day, like the popping of the question day, or the venues day, or the have we sent the invites, wedding showers. I know when I was getting married, there were so many things to keep track of, and you want to feel so excited about your wedding without the stress. And that is why Zola is so important, and Zola is here for all of these moments. For the how do I make budget day to the I have too many spreadsheets day, Zola's free planning tools will give you guidance on where to start and help keep planning on track every step of the way. Zola also has a vendor marketplace for save the dates and invites, free wedding websites, and an amazing registry, all designed by wedding experts for couples just like you. I know a lot of my friends have used Zola for registering. It makes it so easy, and then you just have one link, which is a lot of people like. The Zola community is your place to share, celebrate, and vent with other engaged couples who know exactly what you're going through. And if you need expert help, there's Team Z, Zola's expert wedding advisors, ready to answer any questions. From just engaged to there's only one thing left to do, Zola is here for every day along the way to the big day. Hi, Dr. Devgan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
Okay, so before we started, we were like, what do we call you? And you said Dr. Devgan, and tell the listeners why.
I said Dr. Devgan because that's my name. And you said, why? Do I call you Dr. Lara or what? And I said, Dr. Devgan, because women need that. And I think that we're so quick to call women doctors by doctor first name and men doctors by doctor last name that it creates this instant dichotomy that really doesn't need to be there. I mean, you guys offline call me Lara because we're besties. But, professionally, we have to teach the next generation how to be, because if you don't see it, you can't be it.
That's so true, too. Now that I'm like going through all the doctors in my head that I've worked with, and I'm like, wow, that really is true. The females mainly go by their doctor and then first name.
I'm calling a guy doctor last name any day.
Yeah.
You're right.
The next male doctor you should be like, hey, Dr. Bobby. And he'll be like, what?
That's not it. It's Dr. Miller. And you're like, oh, okay. Okay, so we are so excited to ask you all of these questions because as two avid social media scrollers, I think Jordan and I fall into comparison sometimes on the internet.
All the time, yeah.
And so the first question that we all wanted to ask you was, what's the one thing that people get done that we see online that we don't know about? Or what are the possibilities even?
There are so many possibilities. And I would say that we're living in an era where minimally invasive procedures have become almost omnipresent. And so I think tiny little tweakments like Botox and fillers have become so commonplace that it's not just celebrities or influencers, but your friends and neighbors, your teachers, the people that you live right next door to, the people you're dating. Everybody is doing stuff like that, whether they cop to it or they don't.
So, like, what would be some examples of them besides the lip fillers and the Botox? Like, the things that we see a lot of celebrities, we're like, how does your face look like that? And, like, how do they all look the same? There has to be something.
Can it be invasive?
Yeah.
Okay, I like an invasive answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the invasive answers, like the celebrity secret procedures.
Yes.
Okay, you guys know about Botox and fillers. Sorry, that was an entry level answer. Okay, the more sophisticated answer for the real mean girl answer for you guys is there are some lesser known procedures like submental liposuction, and what that is a procedure where we make a tiny 3mm incision hidden in the submental crease right under the chin, and we use a stainless steel surgical straw called a cannula to suction out fat all along the mandibular border and define the angle of the mandible and the cervicomental angle to create a really beautiful swan-like elongated neck.
Oh.
And so when you see celebrities and various beautiful people around town, you see that they have these nice, perfect, long necks with no double chin, really defined jaw lines, really beautiful angles, and submental liposuction often comes into play. And doing it at a little bit of an earlier age when you think, while you still have enough skin elasticity to get a nice, tight skin envelope, that is like a secret procedure.
What's the recovery time on that?
It's actually not very long because
Okay.
it's the surgery itself is under an hour and you can recover pretty well in a couple of days.
I want that.
Another similar procedure is buccal fat pad excision, where that's used to give a little bit of a slim sculpted mid-cheek sulcus, so it kind of gives you like a Zoolander face or like a model-esque feeling where you get a highlight in the cheekbone and a low light in the mid-cheek sulcus. So we make a little incision hidden in the inside of the cheek so no one ever sees it, and take out a walnut-sized amount of fat in here. And it just gives you a little bit of this sculpty feeling like you're making a kissy face or sucking through a straw, and it gives a little elegant feeling to the face. And then I would say like my number 3 would be a temporal brow lift, which gives a little bit of an elevation to the lateral third of the eyebrow. So a little bit of this subtle arch and femininity to the brow. And that incision is very tiny and it's hidden in the hair, so you don't see it at all.
Oh, wow.
Is there a downside to any of that?
Do you have a 3-for-1 special?
Wait, a question first. Are you able to give us examples of any celebrities who have this so people can visualize what you're saying? And if you don't feel comfortable sharing names, that's fine too. I'm just trying to think about, I can think of a lot.
Yeah, anyone who you're thinking of has probably done it.
Okay.
But I can't really talk about
That's okay.
anybody because maybe I took care of them and I don't want to be inappropriate.
True. I want all 3.
Good for you for perhaps taking care of them.
Yes.
So if you look at pretty much anybody, can you be like, okay, like being a trained professional, will you be like, I know what they had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to be like, okay, tell us.
Yeah, right. I know. No, that's fascinating. Is there ever come an instance where somebody's like, I want to have something done, whether it's like lift the eye or like their lip filler, and you say a cream could do that? Like there's a product you could buy that could do it, or is there even such thing as that?
It's going to be very rare that a topical product is going to be able to take the place of a surgical procedure. It generally speaking really just does not work like that, and I can't really think of a good example. Sometimes you can get a benefit from topical products that can approach results that you can get from medical procedures. Like, for example, a suite of medical grade skincare products designed to treat hyperpigmentation can approach a result similar to what you could get from a chemical peel or a laser. But there's no skin cream. It's not that you're not looking in the right aisle. There is no skin cream that is going to be equivalent to an injectable, and there is no injectable that's going to be equivalent to a surgery. They're just ladders of intervention. And in the same way, you can't substitute one for the other.
There it is.
Yeah.
There's that answer.
It's like if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Right, you're not getting an eye lift at Walgreens.
I have not found that aisle at Walgreens just yet, but I will let you know if I do.
You'll tell us?
I will tell you. You will be the first to know.
Thank you, because I would do that.
Oh, same. I think it's so nice to hear this because I feel like I can speak for you, Alex. We're so hard on ourselves because we do see so many people in this industry and online with these perfect faces, this beautiful skin, and they claim they don't get work done, or they claim they use these creams or these products. And it's just nice knowing, I can sleep better at night knowing that it was because of a procedure they got done.
Yeah, I think that is a really tough spot for the next generation because, I told you that I don't really want to speak about any particular person, but I will say that I have literally flipped through a magazine before and read a celebrity say, I've never gotten Botox in a magazine. And I have thought to myself, I have literally done your Botox.
That's crazy.
And so, I understand that it can be extremely difficult to be in the public eye, and I would not begin to know how that feels, and I would never put myself in that position because I really think that that's extremely difficult and people can be extremely judgmental and cruel. But on the other hand, it's perpetuating this totally false narrative. And as the mother of 2 young daughters and 4 young sons. I really feel for kids today who are growing up in this world and they don't know what's real and what's fake. And that's not even speaking about Photoshop and Facetune and all of the other stuff out there that makes it hard to tell what's up and what's down.
Yeah. Why do you think that there's such a bad stigma around Botox and fillers? Like, I understand maybe the bigger invasive surgeries, but for me, Botox is I guess because we're so comfortable speaking about it, but it's mind blowing. Like, when I tell a guy for the first time I have Botox, I also have lip filler, they're like, no, you don't. Don't ever get that again. I'm like, you like what you see, so why is it an issue?
I think there is this idea that you are messing with the good thing. And I think that people don't understand what is truly possible with these procedures. And we all have a little fear of the unknown. And we've all been in a restaurant where we see someone with dysmorphic features. And, you only see the work that's not great, right? When you see someone across the room and you feel like they have big puffy cheeks or ducky lips or a frozen face and they don't look like the best, most natural version of themselves, you're making a judgment about the concept of fillers, and you're applying that to anyone who possibly has injectable hyaluronic acid in their body. You're not being so super nuanced, but the truth is that these are just materials that can be used in any number of ways. If you see a piece of art that you don't like, it's not the paint's fault. It's the person who's holding the paintbrush, right? And it doesn't mean if you don't like Monet that you don't like Picasso. It just means that the water lilies are not for you. There's a whole other wing of the Metropolitan Museum that you can really enjoy.
Really good analogy.
That was beautiful.
Doctors sometimes I feel like double as like therapists.
Some people aren't comfortable yet with getting the fillers or getting the Botox or the procedures. So to maybe get them started with skincare, what would be like the top 2 to 4 things that every person should be using? And if there's more, if you have a top 5, feel free to do it. Or if you just have one.
Okay. I think top 3 is very reasonable, especially like if you're in your 20s. I try to give people only my bare minimum recommendations because I think it's so super overwhelming. So
yes,
my top 3 recommendations are, number 1, a mixed molecular weight hyaluronic serum.
Yes.
And
that's her favorite.
Okay.
She says that.
We love hyaluronic acid.
Okay, and I have to just offer the disclaimer that I have my own skincare line, so obviously I'm biased. So
yes, please
take this with a grain of salt, but it's the best. But anyway, obviously, but I really love my hyaluronic acid because it's niacinamide fortified, and that gives it extra antioxidant protection. The small molecular weight fragments penetrate into your dermis, and the larger fragments rest on top to give you improved barrier protection of the skin. So a hyaluronic in the morning is going to give you dewiness and hydration and barrier protection of the skin, and then SPF. I'm not really counting that, but
yeah, okay,
just SPF.
Yes, everyone wears
zinc and
sunscreen.
Titanium SPF. Okay, but hyaluronic, and then at night, a vitamin C BE ferulic serum, and I really love my vitamin C serum because it's not just a regular vitamin C ferulic. It also has high percentage vitamin B, which gives it additional antioxidant support. And that's really important for not only scavenging free radical damage from sun exposure, but improving brown spots and hyperpigmentation. Because as we all age, everyone gets little freckling spots on their skin. And that makes the skin look more aged over time. It also helps with fine lines. And then a retinol bakuchiol. And that's really important for improving skin cell turnover and reducing your need for Botox. So if you're not yet into Botox, or if you never want to be, or even if you do use Botox, but you want to keep yourself from needing escalating doses over time, that's very important for decreasing fine lines, improving your pore size, reducing the tendency toward blemishes because it decreases sebum production in the skin, and also improving hyperpigmentation. So it's very multifunctional. So just to review, those 3 products are hyaluronic, vitamin C, B, ferulic, and retinol bakuchiol. And so if you only have the budget or mental bandwidth for 3 things, those are the only 3 things, and you can literally wash your face with shampoo and get the cheapest SPF you can afford. And that's not what I do, but like if that's your vibe, I think those are the super 3 most essentials. And then if you want to be more of an Epicurean about your products, obviously you can do more stuff, but it's important to know who you are. And sometimes if you give someone a 10-step skincare routine and they're like 28 years old, they're just going to tune you out and stop listening right away.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because I love skincare personally, and I feel like you do as well. And when I share mine with my friends, they get very overwhelmed, and they're like, I rather would just not deal with it. So I know a lot of my friends listening, if they know they only need 3 things, they are going to buy those 3 things, and they're going to start working on their skin ASAP.
What's the one product that everyone tells us we need that we don't need? Is it eye cream?
I think eye cream is actually really important. Like our peptide eye, because the periorbital skin is the thinnest tissue on the body. You can use an amazing eye cream all over the face. But the problem is that, that cannot be so budget friendly because the peptide level in eye creams tends to make eye creams more expensive. I would say the product that you don't need that everyone says you need, you can probably combine an eye cream. I mean, you can use an eye cream in multiple locations. I think people tend to overwash their faces, so you can probably decrease the frequency of washing your face.
Oh.
I don't think a toner is necessary.
Okay.
I know that people use toners. Sorry.
I'm obsessed with toners.
I don't want to throw down and ruin anything for anyone, but I don't think toners are necessary. I think you can get by with a cleanser alone.
Wait, quick question. So if you don't recommend washing your face too frequently, and because my second thing was okay, I could just use my toner. What would you use then?
No, I mean, most people need to wash their face twice a day.
Got it.
But
I do that. Okay.
Okay, but I have read some routines where people are washing their face, double cleansing and washing their face 3 times a day and doing toners and cleansers. Wow. Most people will need to wash their face twice a day for a normal skin type. But I don't think toners are necessarily important. But if you like them and they're fine for you, I think that's fine. And the way I think about skincare is kind of the way I think about a diet, where you should think about the components that are necessary for healthy eating. And think about the skin as the body's largest organ because that's what it is. And you have to feed it all these little things: hyaluronic, vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin E, ferulic acid, retinol, bakuchiol. It needs some zinc and titanium, etc. You need protein, dairy, vegetables, etc. You wouldn't ever ask a plastic surgeon or your internist what's more important, dairy or vegetables or protein. Pick one. They'd be like, eat them all. Eat them. And so each individual person needs to pick a diet that works for themselves and for their own body. So if you're gluten intolerant or if you're vegetarian, you might have a different diet than your friend who has different preferences, but you still need the same normal mix of nutrients so that you can be healthy. So if I'm saying that the average person might need to cleanse this many times, it doesn't mean that that's true for every single listener of your podcast. It just means that take it with a grain of salt, do what's right for you. There's no way on earth that I can dictate a skincare routine over a podcast that's going to be true for every human.
Right. That's pretty fascinating.
No, that's a good way to put it.
Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, because I'm so fascinated with the hand surgeries or the reconstructive surgeries, what's the most rewarding part of your job? Is it your skincare line, or is it reconstructing someone's hand or a trauma what rewards you?
The bulk of what I do clinically is cosmetic surgery. At this time in my career, my training was started with all of the most complex reconstructive surgery at all of the best hospitals in New York, and it was just so rewarding to be able to have that as the basis for what I do today. Right now, my practice is divided half surgically and half non-surgically. And what I focus on most is surgical procedures of the face, breast, and body, and non-surgical procedures of those same areas. And I think what rewards me the most is the combination of anatomy and aesthetics, because I grew up with an art background, but also with a tremendous love of the intricacy of the anatomy of the human body. And it's very, very cool to help people on their journeys, because when someone has a surgical procedure, the average American is going to have 2 surgeries in their lifetime. And so when I'm part of someone's surgical experience, I know that it's a once or twice in a lifetime thing, and I'm going to be part of that person's story, and my hands are going to be with them forever. And I take what I do extremely seriously, and I'm extremely detail-oriented, and I stay in the room with the patient until it's exactly right. And so every one of my neuroses and personality flaws is like exactly perfectly matched to my profession, because it's like a really, really good fit for who I am. And I think the thing I find most fulfilling is the ability to help people feel like the best version of themselves and hear intimate parts of their story and kind of meet them where they are. And every person is different. Every type of tissue is different. Every kind of anatomy is different. And people can feel so judged and vulnerable in so many different ways. Even with aesthetics, you think it sounds frivolous, but people get teased at school. People, some people are, transgender and they feel trapped in a certain body. Some people feel like, they only take photos from this side and not that side because their nose always makes them self-conscious. Some people have never been naked in a room with their significant other because they're embarrassed about one breast. Some people have not been in a swimsuit for many years because after a baby, they just didn't feel a certain way. Some people's, smile in a certain way for a camera because their eyes or their mouth make them feel self-conscious. And so just giving people confidence back by using the things that I'm good at is so fun. And I'm really only good at one thing, and that's this. So that I feel really good, like I found my thing. And with my skincare line, what I do is really just vertically integrated. Everything from topicals to injectables to lasers, microneedling, and invasive surgery, just from the least invasive to the most invasive. It allows me to, when I meet a patient, give them exactly what they need, not what my agenda is. Because if everything you have, if all you have is a hammer, then everything you see is a nail. So if all I do is surgery, then every time someone would come into my office, all I would offer them would be surgery. But because I focus on trying every single day to give people the spectrum of what is right for them, I'm able to pick and give them a bespoke answer to their problems. And so that's what I really love the most.
I love that.
Do you just feel like a podcaster now? Yeah. I'm just like, wow, that's incredible.
Well, it just makes me so happy too, because people are going to hear that and they're going to want to go to you or find doctors who feel that passionately, because you're working on ourselves, and you're very vulnerable when you get work done. So knowing that you're that passionate, it makes me so happy, because
it's so
I would trust you with my life.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really take what I do so seriously, because people come to if you're a plastic surgeon, people come to your office, they literally will either show you their face or they'll literally take off their clothes in front of you and tell you all the things they don't like about themselves. Yeah. And so you cannot be a jerk. You have to really care. Otherwise, it makes it awful. I grew up in LA in the 90s, so it was the epitome of the mean girl.
Yeah,
it was. And so I really, and it's a field that is, 95% of plastic surgeons are men, and yet 95% of plastic surgery patients are women. And so it is this extremely weird circumstance where I am trying to bring a little bit of empowerment to a field where people who do what I do not look like me. Literally in any way. I'm like a woman, a minority, a mother of 6. So it's really like it's flipping a field on its head.
That's awesome, though.
It's incredible.
And you take such pride in it. You're the girl for the job.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I tell you. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, you're welcome.
Is there anything, any last things you want to add or say before we wrap up? I mean, feel free to give out your social handles, talk about your skincare, or answer anything else.
You guys, I think, covered it all. But if you guys want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, it's Lara Devgan, MD, LARADEVGAN, MD, like medical doctor. And my skincare line is Dr. Lara Devgan, DR Lara Devgan, on the same platforms.
And Jordan and I will be using it.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for bringing us some, and we're going to try it out. We're going to be very excited for it.
This was fabulous. It was a day of confidence. It was a lesson in being your best self. Thank you so much. I know
so
everyone's going to enjoy
welcome.
it.
Yes, we appreciate having you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Quick pause to talk about HelloFresh. Make mealtime easy with delicious recipes made with fresh, wholesome ingredients delivered to your door. No lines, no hassle, just great tasting meals that can help you enjoy your meal in the comfort of your own home with the cost of groceries going up. And now is the perfect time to get HelloFresh and get started with the cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout. HelloFresh has 40 weekly recipes to choose from for all meal occasions, lifestyles, and preferences. Take your pick from soy glazed salmon with rice or mushrooms and chive risotto. Yum. Oh my gosh, I would love soy glazed salmon. HelloFresh makes it easy to eat what you love. Customize selected meals by swapping proteins or sides, or even adding protein to a veggie dish. And now you can even upgrade for organic chicken or organic ground beef with select meals. We love using HelloFresh because, especially with our busy schedules, it's so nice to have everything delivered to your door, everything you need to cook inside of it, and it's really fun to make the meal. Go to HelloFresh.com/mean60 and use code mean60 for 60% off plus free shipping. That's a great deal. That's mean60 at HelloFresh.com/mean60.
A big thank you again to Dr. Devgan. That was such a fun conversation and interview. So, AB, to close us out, do what you do best.
Follow us. Watch on YouTube. You can see the spray tan hands on YouTube. There's your incentive. And the handshake.
Well, also, never mind. I was saying that the interview with Dr. Devgan would be good to watch because she does show a lot of, like, on the face when she's describing the procedures, but it's too late now.
Also, she is
stunning.
Oh,
the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
She really was.
She is timeless. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter,
TikTok,
Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. Yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review.
Woo! We love you guys. Have a great week.